a light slender waist in palm.
Empress Zhao Feiyan, Emperor Cheng, Liu Hao of the Han Dynasty. Zhao Feiyan's family lineage was humble because her father, Zhao Lin, was a government-enslaved person at the bottom of the social ladder. The so-called government-enslaved people were slaves of the government, who had no personal freedom.
And even their children were hereditary government-enslaved people.
After Zhao's daughter was born, her parents, fearing that the fate of a government-enslaved person would happen to their daughter, had no choice but to throw the child into the wild and leave her to fend for herself. 3 days later, with a guilty heart, Zhao Lin quietly came to where he had abandoned the child to see if the child was dead or alive. But to his great surprise, the child he had abandoned for 3 days was still alive. Zhao Lin thought that the child might have some fortune and be blessed. So he took the baby back home and began to make a good living. Over 10 years had passed, and the former baby had grown into a graceful, peach-faced young woman. The daughter's life as an official enslaved person at the bottom of the social ladder had made her a dishonest and fierce fighter.
Later, Zhao had a younger sister named Hyde.
Although she was younger than her, she was as beautiful as a flower. In the Han Dynasty, the children of government-enslaved people were the property of the state, and the government decided their fate, and this was the case with the young Zhao En. She worked as a servant girl in the palace of Chang'an for a few years before being sent to the residence of Princess Dana after a long and challenging journey. Seeing her beautiful face, lithe body, and cleverness, Princess Yanga loved her so much that she had her taught to perform songs and dances, making her a dancer in the palace. With talent, intelligence, and hard work a few years down, the Zhao woman has been able to sing like a warbler, coupled with the lightness of her body. She could sing like a warbler, and with her lithe body, she could dance like a swallow. So her skills were far superior to those of the other dancers. Seeing that she was a great dancer and had become a beautiful woman, the princess named her Feiyan.
Suddenly, Feiyan's reputation rose, and all the men and women in Chang'an
knew that Princess Yanga's residence was home to Zhao Feiyan, a woman of incredible beauty and skill. At this time, it was the late Western Han Dynasty, and the reigning emperor was Liu Hao. Liu Hao needed the ability to open up new territories and the talent to rule the country, and he was a genuinely dim ruler. To satisfy his extreme desire for luxury, Emperor Cheng had been building palaces and beautiful women for many years, causing the people to be separated from their wives and suffer unspeakable misery. Not only that, but Emperor Cheng also often abandoned state affairs and went on a trip with a group of sycophants, such as Zhang Fan, the Marquis of Fuping, either near the city or far away in the countryside, to have fun at will. On this day, Emperor Cheng came to the residence of Princess Yanga. The princess arranged a feast in her residence to welcome the emperor. To help, the princess also ordered the house of dancers to perform before the feast. A beautiful woman came to see her face like a pretty flower, her eyes like the autumn water, and her body lithe. Song and dance, like a flowering branch trembling, such as swallows pointing to water, a song is not finished. There are 10,000 kinds of flavor, wonderful. Emperor Cheng saw, very fond of. I did not realize that it was looking dumb. After the banquet, Emperor Cheng wanted to take this woman back to the palace with him. The princess did her a favor and offered her to Emperor Cheng, telling him she was Zhao Feiyan. Since then, Emperor Cheng has always been in love with Feiyan, and they have much to discuss. Although favored by Emperor Cheng, Feiyan's heart is always shrouded in some clouds of sadness. She is a lowly person,
inevitably despised by the concubines from famous families, and competing with the many rivals is difficult. After much deliberation, Feiyan decided to fight with her sister, PT, and work together. In the days to come, Feiyan often took the opportunity to send pillow talk into the ears of Emperor Cheng, talking about how beautiful her sister was, even better than herself, which made Emperor Cheng so happy that he couldn't wait to see her. So, a decree was quickly passed down, and Zhao He called into the palace. Head into the palace, extraordinary, eyebrows like distant mountains, skin like late snow, radiant like a fairy. The adult emperor immediately appointed Feiyan's sisters as Jiayu, positioned in the concubines above, second only to the queen.
At one time, Zhao's two women at the same time favored the harem, and the glory was very much. However, as their status increased, Zhao's daughters became more and more power-hungry.
Especially Zhao Feiyan, who had long coveted the throne of the Empress, regarded the reigning Empress Xu and Ban Jieyu as thorns in her side, and made every effort to bring them down.
In the period of Emperor Cheng, the power struggle among the relatives was very fierce.
Among them, the most prominent contradiction between Xu's relatives and Wang's relatives who were in power. After several rounds of fighting, Xu's relatives were in a state of apparent decline.
And even worse, Empress Xu was already old and had lost the emperor's favor, so she had to walk on thin ice in the palace.
Feiyan saw this as a favorable opportunity, and in 20 to BC,
she denounced the sister of Empress Xu Yu, saying that she had set up an altar
to curse Wang Miran and Wang Feng, who were pregnant, and that she was guilty of the crime against Ban Jieyu. At that time, Emperor Cheng was already past his prime, but he was suffering because he had no son and no successor to his throne. Feiyan's denunciation just touched his heart, coupled with the instigation of Wang's relatives.
In a fury, Emperor Cheng ordered Xu to be sentenced to death, and Empress Xu was sent to the cold palace. Ban Jieyu also suffered great humiliation and took refuge in the palace of Changqing. In this way, Feiyan took advantage of the conflict between the relatives, and skillfully used her tricks to finally clear the two obstacles to the throne of the Empress.
Feiyan wanted to be the Empress, and Emperor Cheng also had the idea of appointing her as the Empress.
However, Empress Dowager strongly opposed Feiyan's appointment as the queen, who was born from a humble background.
What annoyed Emperor Cheng mainly was that some ministers also tried their best to obstruct the establishment of the queen. Liu Fu, the chief advisor to the emperor, petitioned the emperor, accusing him of indulging in his lusts and desires by giving his mother the world. Is there no better way to do it?
Emperor Cheng was furious and sent Liu Fu to prison for questioning. Fortunately, Liu Fu was saved by his ministers, who saved him from death. Since then, none of his ministers dared to oppose him. When Emperor Cheng was in a difficult situation, a sycophant named Junyu Chan came to counsel him.
Junyu Chan was the nephew of the Empress Dowager, Wang Zhengjun, and was the official vizier.
To curry favor with Emperor Chengdi, Junyu Chan often went to the Empress Dowager to persuade Emperor Chengdi, praising Emperor Chengdi for his filial piety and Feiyan for her virtues, and saying that the country should not be left without a queen for a long time.
After a year, Empress Dowager was finally persuaded by his words of wisdom.
In 16 BXC, Feiyan was crowned Empress, wearing her longed-for crown, and Hidi was also promoted to Zhaoli, making the Zhao sisters the real masters of the harem.
On the coronation day, Emperor Cheng, not forgetting Junyu Chan's persuasive efforts, gave him the title of Marquis of Dingling.
Feiyan's father, Zhao Lin, was also named Marquis of Zhenjiang.
After Feiyan became the Empress, she and her sister, Hyde, were the most beautiful women in the harem.
However, as time passes, Feiyan's sisters begin to worry again. In the Han Dynasty, where patriarchy was prevalent, the mother was valued by her children.
And this was especially true for the concubines in the harem. Once they had an heir, they were guaranteed a lifetime of glory and wealth. Otherwise, they were at risk of falling out of favor at any time, or even being thrown into the cold palace.
Although the Feiyan sisters have been serving the emperor for a long time, they have not been able to give birth to a son or daughter.
In contrast, many of the other concubines that the emperor occasionally visits are pregnant and give birth to children,
which makes the Feiyan sisters scared and frightened, and they decide to work together to eliminate their potential rivals.
In the first year of Yuanyan, a palace maid named Xiao Gong became pregnant. It turned out that Emperor Cheng had secretly met her a few times, which led to a covert pregnancy.
In October of that year, this palace maid went into labor and gave birth to a baby boy. When word of this incident reached Hidi, she immediately instructed her henchmen,
Tian Ke, and a palace official named Li Nan to kill Xiao Gong and the baby. Although angry, Emperor Cheng Gong learned of this matter, but was deterred
by the Zhao family's sister's arrogance and had to let it go. In the second year, Emperor Cheng favored Xu beauty and gave birth to a boy.
Then,
Emperor Cheng finally saw his heir and was pleased, inadvertently telling the matter to Hyde. But Hyde's eyebrows rose. She looked furious and said, "Your Majesty has promised not to let us down. But now that Beauty Shu has given birth to a son, Your Majesty has let us down." Emperor Cheng said, "I have followed the previous agreement not to install Shu Miren, so that there will be no one above Zhao in the world, so that you can rest assured." Soon after that, Emperor Cheng asked Emir Ren to ask for the baby boy, put the baby in a reed box, and sent it to the residence of Hidi so that Hidi and Emperor Cheng could watch it in private. The baby boy was then secretly buried under the instruction of Hidi. Hidi killed the 2 babies born to Xie Gong and Shu Miren in succession, and Emperor Cheng was left without an heir. Ultimately, he could only choose another heir from the royal family. Zhao Feiyan tried her best to push Liu Xin, the king of Dingtao, into the position of the crown prince so that she could rely on him in the future. As the saying goes, what goes around comes around, and what goes around comes around. Just when the Feiyan sisters were at the peak of their power, lousy luck began to strike them. In 7 BXE, Emperor Cheng died of a sudden and violent illness. At that time, there were many different opinions inside and outside the court, and the focus of suspicion was on Hidi. The Feiyan sisters had been in favor for a long time and had made many enemies in the palace. As soon as Emperor Cheng died, everyone took the opportunity to attack them. The Empress Dowager Wang Xingyun ordered General Wang Man to investigate the matter, and the target was Hidi. In this situation, Hidi was so convinced that the situation was over that he had to commit suicide. With the death of Emperor Cheng, Zhao Feiyan lost her support. The death of Hidi made her feel the pathos of a rabbit dying and a fox grieving. Fortunately, Liu Xin, Emperor Liu Xin, the throne, remembering that she was the year to promote her merits, she still ceremonial, honored her as Empress Dowager and his brother Zhao Qin as the new Marquis of Cheng. But there is always a reward for good and evil. Soon, all the ministers in the court sent a petition to expose the Feiyan sisters' murder of Emperor Cheng's heir and wanted to kill them. However, Emperor Liao was not concerned about this matter because of Zhao Feiyan's old friendship, and only dismissed Empress Zhao from her post and sent her to the countryside. In 1 BXE, Emperor Liao died, and one's relative supported Emperor Ping's Liu Yan to take the throne. In that year, Emperor Ping was only 9 years old, and all the power in the dynasty was returned to the Wang clan.
After obtaining absolute power, the Wang clan accused Zhao Feiyan of murdering the emperor's son, abrogated her throne,
demoted her to the rank of the commoner, and made her move out of the palace to guard the emperor's mausoleum. Feiyan killed herself in despair at the age of about 40.